Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Born to Create. So, I want to welcome my boy Andre Simpson to the show. So, guys, Born to Create, it's a simple concept. If who or what you want to be doesn't exist, you go out there and create your life and create your reality. So, today I have an amazing creator on the line. The show. So, we're going to talk about building a family legacy. So, Andre, welcome to the show, brother. How are you today?
Oh, excellent, man. Excellent. Appreciate having me on. Appreciate that.
No
It's,
worries, no worries. So just for the audience, where are you from right now? Or where are you right now?
currently live in Tampa, Florida. I'm originally from Rochester, New York, but I live in Tampa right now.
Okay, okay.
So,
I had a friend of mine on from I think from Boca Raton last week, and he was saying that the humidity out there is crazy. So how's
yeah,
out there for you? It's
yes,
crazy.
it's hot. It gets hot. I love it though. But
You
being
love
from
it?
out in New York with the snow,
Yeah. Okay.
I take this any day. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
never
Okay.
too
Cool.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for being on. I know you're on before. I just wanted to just bring you back to share some of your bombs, share some of your knowledge, and just get the people going. So I think we actually met on Facebook.
Right.
You have a business called Young Black Wealth Builders,
Right.
and I noticed a while back that your name got changed from
Right.
your Facebook page. Name got changed. Why that happened?
What happened? The reason why I changed it because I was trying to change the mindset, change the mindset of everybody, especially people my age. I'm
Yeah.
44, but about building wealth. And I'm like, you know what? We need to change. We need to capture the young,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
young black people, young black wealth builders out there, and raise them up because they said it's better to it's better to raise a generation than try to repair one.
Right.
So wasn't trying to repair a mindset. We got to just raise up the next generation so that we can be able to have generational wealth. So I wanted to let them know that we're rooting for you. You
Right.
already.
Right. 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 So
And then the people that's older, they're gonna say I'm young too, so that they're in line. So everybody gets to fit in.
yeah, well, you and I are the exact same age, so the
All right,
exact same age, which is super cool. So,
nice.
what made you actually even consider teaching on web building? Consider teaching people because most people, I would say, are kind of out for themselves when they get knowledge. What gave you the motivation to start teaching and
Right.
what you know?
Right. Great question. I come from a huge family, so I have 8 brothers, eight children in all. So I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and just coming from, I tell everybody, I knew my great grandmother, I knew my grandparents on both sides, and I know my parents, and 3 generations of brokenness, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Growing up in the inner city in upstate New York is just like I always used to go back and forth to the store. My parents sent me to the store, and I just look around my community. I'm like, why does this place look like this? You know? And I was like, and later on in life, I found out because there's no money flowing in the community. There's no wealth there, and what wealth we do have, it goes right back out to everybody else. So I was like, you know what? We got to build wealth. And I said, I don't want to go by myself. I don't want to just, I want to take people with me. So we all need to get this knowledge and go and build wealth so that we can pass on something to the next generation. So our children and children's children don't have to walk to the store looking
Right.
around and say, "Well, my community look like this."
Right. Right. Right.
We got to share the wealth.
Yeah, we definitely got to share, and I commend you for even taking that leap. So
Yeah.
so talk to me about your business right now. So when did you actually start Young Black Wealth Builders, and when you start, where you are now, and where you guys going as far as the future?
Okay. Basically, our main focus is to um, educate the community. I started just getting the information. First and foremost, somebody introduced me to a life insurance company, and that's when I really started learning about generational wealth and being able to leave something. Because I know, again, I knew my great grandparents, I knew my grandparents, and nobody had life insurance. Nobody left anything to the next generation.
Right.
So we took care of that, and I was like, the strategies that I started learning concerning life insurance and why we should have it, we started off teaching that. And as far as learning about investments and things of that nature, I'm like, our people don't know this. We don't know this stuff. So we got involved with another company after I got those licenses. Got involved in another company that focuses more on the education and starting a person from right where they're at, because everybody didn't have money to buy life insurance. We don't have extra money to buy food. I'm trying to get extra, extra money to buy life insurance.
Right.
So we ran into an organization that allowed us to start a person from right where they're at, show them how to increase their cash flow, look at areas where they can increase their cash flow, and start taking the baby steps to building wealth to ultimately turn into big giant steps. So our ultimate goal Anthony, is to build a business, an asset-based business, and help our people to do the same that would set us free to do what it is that we want to do. And our ultimate goal is to start rebuilding the inner city, starting right here in Tampa, and then creating a duplicate system that we can take to the next inner city and start creating a fluent community where there's jobs flowing, where there's money flowing, where we can build generational wealth. Yeah,
that's absolutely amazing. I mean, you said two key things for me that stood out. One is you want to rebuild and duplicate. And other one you said was freedom. See, a lot of people think that this life is about making money. And money is good, but if you spend 100 hours a week in a sense working, you can't enjoy that money. And I've heard so many stories of men who are building businesses, building empires. They work so much they miss basketball games, birthday parties, and they miss all their kids growing up.
Right.
And freedom is really the freedom to do what you want, right? So you can make $5,000 a month, and if your bills are since $500 a month, you're free, right? So it's not about really the dollar amount; it's about the time spent with your family. And it's crazy how you mentioned life insurance, because I didn't get life insurance till I was about maybe 30 years old, right? Because I thought, I'm invincible, I'm not going to die, but it's really setting up your family just in case, because of course no one thinks they want to pass away, but it's that insurance. And I think it's important for especially people of color, men of color, is that we don't want to get life insurance, because one, we think we're not going to die. Two, we think, okay, we can afford it. And three, it's like, whatever.
Right.
So I like the fact that you're educating people on the importance of life insurance, and that's part of leaving a legacy, right? Setting up your family and generations. So thanks for that. Now you talk about rebuilding your community, and it's with education, right? So where did you learn from? Who are some of your mentors that stick out to you that you learned and set the path for you to walk down?
Well, from rebuilding the communities, as hands down, Dr. Claude Anderson.
Okay.
Dr. Claude Anderson. He's got many videos on YouTube, but he wrote a book called Powernomics. He's got another book called Black Labor, White Wealth. He's constantly, he's practical, down to earth, and just tell us what the problem is, especially what I grew up seeing. He explains why it looks that way. And he's phenomenal. And I follow him to the T. I don't know if there's a few other people that I listen to every now and then, but one name that sticks out the most is Dr. Claude Anderson, hands down. And just allowing me to see why our community looks the way that it does, the trash and the other stuff, the stealing and the bad stuff that happens in our communities, and Marcus Garvey as well. Definitely Marcus Garvey. But yeah, those are the two biggest ones.
So let's unpack that for a minute. So why do our communities look this way? Why is there poverty? Why is there trash? Why is there theft? And not going into a deep discussion as far as Mr. Anderson, but give us a brief synopsis on why is it like that? What's the problem?
The main thing in a nutshell, to me, from our perspective, and I know many other people, and it's like it's a body, you know, that brings that, you know, it takes a village to build a community. But from my perspective, from a wealth building perspective, Black Wall Street, you know.
Yeah.
So I look at Black Wall Street and I'm saying, okay, here's a Black community that flourished.
Right.
Well, Black people was rich, you know, and the reason being is because everybody stayed in the community. You had doctors, you had the lawyers, you had the barber shop, you had the grocery store, you had the movie theater, you had the taxi system. Everybody, we owned our own businesses.
Right.
So we have to own businesses and stay in that community. And what happens is, as the children grow up and they see, oh, you look like me, you own a business, you have mentors, you have people guiding. We don't have that guidance in the community anymore. You see all these videos on YouTube and Facebook where they're going in the store that's owned by the Korean, or you know, they're doing their thing, you know, and they're in there fighting with them, and there's no respect there, and all that stuff is because of ownership. We have to own and control our communities, and the dollar must circulate more than one time in our community. That's the biggest problem. In the other communities, the dollar bounces 10 and 20 times. In our community, we get our check, and before we get home, we've already spent it outside the community.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. The dollar must continue to change hands in our community in order for wealth to grow.
Yeah, and that's, I'm reminded, that's a big factor, because my buddy and I were talking, and it's this concept called, I believe it's called susu, right?
Yes.
And it's in the Asian community. How what they do is that they all gather all of their money and resources, put it into one person's business. Here, take this 200K, go start a beauty supply store, right? And then you make money, and then you do it for somebody else.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing that's missing in our community, is that the dollar, we're not together. You're absolutely right. And I was driving the other day, and I saw something that said Roots Beauty Supply. I'm like, okay, cool. A Black-owned beauty supply parlor, right? Going there, it's owned by Asians, but they have Black people behind the registers.
Yeah. Oh, right. Really? Right.
So I'm like, so it's kind of like I guess a misdirection or a trick.
Right.
For me, it's about a decision that we make, right? Because we see that these things are possible. Because I mean, I'm thinking if I see someone owning a business, if I wanted that, I can go out there and get it, right? So I mean, for me, it's all about a mindset. You know, it's about how we talk to each other and how we talk to ourselves. Right. You know, because self-talk is important. You know, we have to really be in a position where, because, you know, Andre, I can tell you every day, all day, you know, you're amazing, you're great, you're powerful, you're a king. But if you don't believe that, then you won't go anywhere. Right. So I believe that, you know, us as just a people in any race, any dynamics, like we have to have that self-talk. You know, and talk to ourselves. Yes. And again, it just goes back to mindset and control. So the generation now where there's really no sense of ownership, there's sense of, you know, making Michael Jordan rich and making everybody else rich. What methods are you taking to actually change the mindset, or really plant a seed? Because I don't think you can really change someone's mindset. You just plant a seed, and they got to change themselves. Right. What programs are you out there, you know, putting in the community that can change and push towards that change and ability?
Excellent question. I want to piggyback on something you said about the susu as well. There's a book. It's an old book. I don't know if you can find it, but it's called Susunomics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's a book wrote, and he was talking about, it's really good. It's thick too. Okay. And I've been using that book. It's on my shelf, because our first goal is to build the wealth so that we can free, and then to start in that arena. But there's some great ideas on using it for our community. Really? And one of the ideas was building a grocery store, and how you would take a neighborhood and you would go to that neighborhood. You would have a town meeting, and you would get that neighborhood together and say, we're going to open up a grocery store.
Huh.
All of you all are going to be investors in that grocery store. This is going to be your grocery store.
Wow.
Everybody has the ability to invest, and you get some lawyers to drop some contracts in them, or everybody receive a small dividend off the profits of that grocery store. This is a own grocery. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't wait. So so it's part of that susu. But the measure that we're taking right now is that we're starting off with the education. We believe that it starts with the mind. We say in our business, we say if you shift your mindset, then you can shift your income. So and I used to want to be a motivational speaker. Growing up, I was like, man, if I could just get out here and teach this stuff to kids, and get them going. And I see people doing it. But the thing is about once you leave, that wears off. After 45 minutes, it wears off. Growing up in the inner city, I come home, 8 kids, we broke, busted, and disgusted. Yeah, he had a good speech for me today, but who's going to help us with this mess that we got right here?
Powerful. Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do that. So we have to put sneakers to this thing. So we're financial education. We teach a system called income shifting. Okay. And not only that, we offer a business opportunity where people can come in and earn, not only work our strategies, but they can also earn money. Because I said, if we're going to do something, we got to be able to give people something where they can, it's their choice whether they want to do it or not, and that's fine. But you got to have an opportunity where you can create money. I don't want to just come and tell you these are the things that you need to do. Good luck. No, we have a system in place where you can implement that and make additional income. That way, there's no excuse. So that's what we're doing right now. We have the ability to build this team all across the U.S. Only the U.S. right now because we teach also U.S. tax laws. Okay. Because most people don't know that their biggest expense in life is not debt, it's not their mortgage, it's not student loans, it's taxes. So we show them how to start right there by minimizing their taxes, looking at ways to increase their cash flow, and then go from there. So that's our game plan. That's our game plan right now.
Which it's working. So I have a sort of like I guess it's a more of a personal question for you. Mm-hmm. I've been watching you do your thing on internet for years, right? And I know the mission you have, a task, it's not an easy one. I know there are roadblocks. I know there are frustrations. I know there are times when you probably just want to just, throw your hands in the air. What keeps you from giving up? What keeps you from quitting? What keeps you saying, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on my family, my wealth, and I'm just focused on me? What keeps you grinding?
Yeah. I'm a purpose-driven dude, man. Yeah. You got me tearing up right now. Just from that question. I'm a purpose-driven dude. I can't do anything without a purpose behind it first and foremost. I can't, even when I work a job, I can't work a job just because, I pay good. I'm not there long. I'm out of there. And that's how I've always been. It's got to have a purpose behind it, or I'm not able to be there long enough. Yeah. So when I'm looking for an opportunity, I'm looking for a business, it's got to be something that there's got to be a purpose behind it that'll keep me there forever. But and a lot of people, I get that question, especially dealing with us as a people, So like you said, I'm just gonna focus on my family. Yeah. But the thing is Martin Luther King. And it probably comes from being an avid reader as well, just learning how successful people, how they became successful. And Martin Luther King says, and a quote I never forgot, he says, if you don't have nothing to die for, you're not fit to live. So I make a decision, what am I willing to die for? Wow. What am I willing? Am I willing to die for my community? Am I willing to die for my family? And the answer is yes, and that's where I'm going, So the answer is that's what I'm willing to die for. What makes me sad? What hurts me? That helped me to identify my purpose. Yeah. And I said, when I see my community suffering where I come from, and that's what keeps me going. So and a lot of times, and Dr. Anderson says it too, Claude Anderson, he says, nobody wants to focus on our community. He says, people say things like, he says people want to focus on all other things, but nobody wants to specifically focus on our community.
Right.
I forgot some of the things that he said, but I don't want to mess it up. But it's just that focus, and it's and I lived it.
Yeah.
So I know how it hurts to not be able to do things and to have your hands tied, and in a community that doesn't support you, that has no support, put it that way, financially. So I said somebody's got if you find a need and fill it, you can also build wealth.
Right.
Okay. So there's a huge need in our community. There's a huge hole, but everybody's going that way. So like I said, I'm gonna focus on me. But I was like, man, that's wide open. Nobody's focused in our community. So I said, hey, that's what I want to do. That's my purpose.
Amen.
And I love it. I love it. It keeps me going. What keeps me going, and when I deal with people that sometimes people join my business and they say, hey, Dre, they say, people in my community, we don't see that, or, our people, we ain't ready for that. And I'm like, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. We don't accept that here because we are ready. And I was ready, but nobody gave me a shot. I didn't until I sought it out and I found it. So we have a responsibility to give our people a shot, and there's 42 million of us here in this country. So, if 1%, we change 1%, that's 400,000. We can make a difference.
Wow. So you consider it your responsibility to change the landscape and change the focus. Right. So give us that King quote one more time, because I think it was real profound.
Martin Luther King said, if you don't have anything to die for, you're not fit to live.
Wow. Wow. That woke me up right now. You're purpose-based, you're mission-based. So I know a big part of what you're doing is to build and leave a legacy for your family. So talk to us about your family, wife, kids, family dynamic, something about that.
Yeah, good question, man. Good questions. I appreciate it. Man, it's just I don't know where to start. Like I said, just growing up with a family, great grandmother. I remember going to grandma's house, and a little poor house around the corner, and then grandmother house, struggling financially. Both grandparents. My parents struggled with 8 children. My dad worked, but my mom stayed home with all of us, of course. And I was like, I just hated it. I really hated it. And I said, somebody in my family has to do something.
Right.
And I said, it's going to be me. I've always wanted to be wealthy. And my brothers and sisters, I have, like I said, I got 7 other brothers and sisters. And it's just, I'm the one I feel that's really focused on doing something big that's going to leave that legacy to the next generation. They're coming along, and I appreciate them. Just in case they're watching, I love y'all. But no, it's something that we have to. My focus is we have to change the dynamic. So me and my wife, we sit down. It's very important that you have a spouse that's on the same page with you. And I'm not embarrassed to say this is my second marriage. The first lady I married, she was not on pace. She wasn't feeling nothing that I was talking about, and it was the wrong person. Right. My wife now, I love her. She's the best. We're on the same page. And our focus is starting with our children, starting with our children and changing that mindset, So we're taught growing up, and
I'm here.
Get good grades. My wife is college educated. I'm not. I didn't do good in high school, so I didn't see myself paying to go to school to fail. I ain't paying for me to go fail. I'm already failing in high school. Right. So anyway, but my wife is college educated, and she got student loans. I don't. So our focus is, so you taught to go to school, get good grades, and then go get that job and to take care of you. But we all know that that's not working. So we now learn a new system in our business called cash, asset, cash.
Okay.
So you take some cash, even if you have a job, it's not a problem. That's your seed money. It's not to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Right.
So you take that money from the job and you start pouring it into assets. What's an asset? A business that eventually makes money for you without you being there.
Right.
So you pour it into that asset. That asset makes you money. And then you take that money and you start pouring it into your investments. Mm-hmm. Your investments now are competing. I like to say they compete with my assets. So if I'm making $100,000 in my asset business, I want my investments to ultimately start pouring off me $100,000 a year as well. So that's what we teach our children. I have a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. they all know cash, asset, cash.
Right.
That's what we talk about. They have we don't call it a bank, we call it an investment. So they have a piggy investment in their room with a gumball machine in there. The gumball machine is the asset, the piggy bank is the investments.
Right.
We want to get in their mindset that you can go to college if you want to, but we don't go to school to learn to make money. We go to school to learn.
Right.
Okay. Most of us send our children to go to school to get a job. We send our children, if they want to go to college, we send them to go so they can learn whatever they need to learn, whatever they want to learn.
Yeah.
So we're changing that game, and our goal, we're not there yet, but our goal is once we hit millionaire status, we're going to gather our whole family, all 8 brothers and sisters and their children and our parents, and we're going to get them all together in a hotel room and say, over the next 12 months to 36 months, we're going to give y'all a game plan on how to build wealth.
Right.
So y'all can choose to follow along or not, but we highly encourage you to, because we're changing our family for generations.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's crazy what you talk about school, because my wife and I went to an appointment with our daughter in school, and the whole premise was they're teaching her. They were teaching. So what I got was that they want her to be able to fill out an application when she leaves school. That was the whole job. We want her to be able to fill out an application so she can get a job. Right. And the whole system is not built on success of a child. Right. It's not. So it's up to us. I mean, they're there to learn, like learn how to read and write, but it's up to us to teach them how to be wealthy, right? And one thing you said in our last conversation is that you never say to your kids, "Good job." Right. What do you say?
Good business.
Good business.
Good business.
I love that. That's stuck in my mind since last time talking to me, because I've been implementing that, into my kids.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Another thing that I did was I never tell my kids, we can't afford it.
Right.
We don't have any money. Right. And every family is on a budget. Right. In some way, fashion. So, I tell my son that, my money is in the bank working, right? So once it's done working, then I can come back and buy you that car or whatever, right? But it's never, I can afford it. The money's in the bank working for us, son. Yeah. So I think that it starts, with us, with our kids, because they learn from us, right? They see us, and what we say about money and how we use money will actually affect how they use it. Right. And I tell my wife, there's certain things that we should and shouldn't say in regards to money about our kids, because they pick that up. Yeah. I found my daughter years back in the store, really, really hesitating to buy something. I'm like, "Wife, well, it costs too much money." I'm like, who told you it was too much money? Right. This was something that, that we said over the years that made her, that ingrained in her that this costs too much money. Right. So it does start with us and our kids, because, our kids are the next generation. And we have to lead the way for them and make sure that they're successful. Right. So, and then, building that millionaire status, it's a journey, right? It's a journey. And the reason most people don't get there is because they give up, 3 feet from goal, right? They give up, and, people, even in our family, they look at us, "Andre, you've been doing this, Dre. You've been doing this for 20 years. You're not a millionaire yet, right? What you doing? Yeah. What you doing, right?" Yeah. So, but it's that compound effect. Darren Hardy talks about the compound effect. It's the little things you do every single day, day in, day out. And one day, it explodes. Right? Yeah. And I already see it in you, bro. I see it. I feel it. And it's just really amazing to have people like you, on this earth that are willing to give. Yeah. Because it's a need, because it's your purpose, right? And it was once said that your mission has to be so big, it won't be fulfilled in your lifetime, right? So you're teaching people, you're teaching your kids to continue your mission along, right? Yeah. So you're mentioning the business that you're in. Talk to me about the business where you teach people these concepts?
Yeah, we ran into actually I had a friend of mine on Facebook message me one day. We work in we love network marketing. We're in the network marketing space.
Yeah.
It's that for some people it can be a nightmare. For some people it can be a dream. You know, so to each his own. I chose network marketing space because it allows me to not only build wealth on my own for my own, but and build residual and passive income, but also allows me to bring my people along with me. We go to wealth together. So. But I had a friend of mine reach out to me through Facebook, and there's a company in Atlanta. It's a Black-owned company called My Econ. And one of the things that they teach is income shifting. And the founder of the company is worth about $600 million. Brother's very down to earth. Got him on the cell phone anytime I need to call him. And that's the mentorship. And he basically just teaches. And the thing about it is that it's not even about the network marketing aspect of it, because we're more focused on the education side. We just allow a person to have an opportunity as well to build an asset. But most people just get involved with our membership, and it's a membership that teaches what's called income shifting. So we show a person through minimizing taxes, through eliminating debt, through minimize their expenses. We even give them software that helps them to accomplish that goal. Through that increasing their cash flow, they're able to take that money, and now we encourage them to pour it into an asset. Okay. So we also teach them that having a home-based business, most people don't know that when you have a home-based business, you're able to write off your lifestyle. Yeah. So even if you're working a job, or if you have another business, just having another home-based business opens up another world to over 400 tax deductions. Mm-hmm. So most of us are getting killed on taxes. For instance, when we first got started, me and my wife wasn't writing off nothing. Right. We owed taxes at the end of the year, every year, and we had a home-based business. Right. So we owed $1,500 when we got started in back taxes to Uncle Sam. Wow. So once we started learning, getting on this this membership and getting the education and training, me and my wife immediately started writing off our lifestyle. And we was like, look how much money we've been missing out on. Wow. So instead of owing at the end of the year, we got $7,000 back. And I'm like, man, I've had a home-based business for 10 years.
Are you serious?
10 years without writing off a dime. Wow. So I said, okay, so I'm doing the math. All right, 7,000 times 10 years, that's 70 grand. So ignorance cost us as a people. Wow. So much, Yeah. So that's what we teach. That's one of the things that we teach. Show people how, and we give them the education, we give them the software to teach them everything that they can write out. We have constantly running education and training going on, webinars, live cash flow conferences. Yeah. But at the same time, we're able to turn that into a business of teaching other people how to do that as well, market the membership, have distribution going on as well. Right. And then last but not least, you take the money that you make. And some people say, hey, I don't want to build the business, but how do I get an asset? So some people go out and buy a franchise, or they seek out other businesses. The main goal is to get people from getting a cash flow increase. Another thing, too, is the W-4. We find out that most people have their W-4 filled out wrong at their job. Really? Every year, you're supposed to go back and look at your W-4. Because your life changes. You might have had a baby, you might have bought a house, you might have opened up a business. Every year you're supposed to go back and revisit your W-4. It says it right on the sheet. Right. So most people are leaving money on the table. You can increase your cash flow that way. So we showed them how to take that money, get into business, and then take the money from the business and then start investing. Okay. When you're able to invest, you're able to start receiving capital gains and dividends. So we as a people, again, we don't get into investing. We save our money at low rates of return, right, in checking and savings accounts, right, or CDs and things like that, where we can get higher rates of return. And the goal is to become what we call an accredited investor. Right. So you want to become an accredited investor so that you can take advantage of investments,
Yeah, definitely. You have there's a common theme about you, and there's two words that you've used like throughout the whole interview. the people and togetherness. You
Right.
never once said I, me.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I admire that because most people are about themselves, and
Right.
you never said I. It's like the
Uh,
people, it's together,
right.
community. And I see that's a big theme, and it just flows off you like it's just natural, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your natural heart, your natural mindset. That's just who you
Yeah.
are. And like you said, that's your purpose.
Right.
And when you have that, it's only a matter of time before
Right.
you explode, right? So, so that's amazing. So, I always like to, ask my guests in closing. It's like, give the people like 3 action steps that they can take right now to push themselves to that next level, and in regard to building a family legacy. 3 action steps.
3 action steps. First thing is you got to believe. You got to believe that you can do it. You
Right.
got to believe that that it's attainable. Most people don't believe that they can do it. So if you don't believe you're going to do it, you're not going to do the things that it takes to get there.
Right.
You got to believe that you're the chosen one in your family to make it happen.
Right.
A guy I listened to on an audio, he always say, your grandparents ain't do it, your mom ain't do it, your daddy ain't do it. You got to be the one to do it. And that hits me every time. So you just got to it comes from belief and the words that you speak in your house, like you said earlier. Me and my wife are very cautious about what we're saying in our house. We call our children wealth builders. We call them champions. We call them leaders. We call them the best of the best all the time. We do great things. Built. So it's that belief. You got to get that right cultural belief going on in your house. So that's first and foremost, the belief and the words, speaking, saying the right words in your house. You can't be talking about we building wealth over here, but you calling them this over there. So that's the first step. The second step is you got to start changing your mindset. You got to shift that mindset. You got to start reading and growing. I call it predisposal.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll talk to people about what it is that we do. And I was just talking to a guy the other day, and he goes, and I said, man, you need to increase your cash flow. You increase your cash flow on your W-4. Our membership is $34 a month. I said, you can, man, and it's paid for 3 times over because you increase your cash flow. You got the tax write-off, da-da-da. He said, Dre, I can't do that. I said, you can't afford $30 a month? No, I just got a new car, new Infinity.
Liability.
I said, bro, you hear what you just saying, man? Your liabilities, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to show you how to go from cash. First of all, you can increase your cash flow and start building an asset.
Yeah.
But you so focus on the liability. So you got to start changing your mindset. You got to read books like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I asked everybody I talked to on the phone, have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? 99.9% of them say no. I mean, that book been out for years.
Even to this day, really?
Yeah. People don't read. People don't read, period.
Right.
Cash flow quadrant. You got to start changing that mindset so that you can be ready. And I'll say this real quick. Before I started learning about the wealth that's in our inner cities alone, the real estate, the businesses, the dilapidated buildings, all that stuff can all be refurbished, rebuilt, and turned into thriving businesses. But when I first started riding through the hood, it's like, nobody wants to live. Why would anybody want to live? But now, because I read and I grow and I learn, I said, look at all this wealth that people just passing up, So reading and growing and learning. I mean, you got audios. If you don't like to read, you got YouTube. There's no excuse today in the information age for you to fail on anything. No excuse. Right. So, but I told my wife it's a blessing and a curse because all it does is amplifies what you're already doing. So that's the second. So belief, you got to get your belief up. 2, you got to start educating yourself. You got to pour in. You got to pour in wealth. The Bible says whatever you meditate on day and night, you will make your way prosperous and successful. Yeah. So you meditating on the word or you meditating on some mess, either one, you're going to prosper and have success in either one.
Right.
And then last but not least, you got to take action. You got to put your hand to something.
Right.
You know, you got to put your hand to some type of business. You got to step out. You got to go into business first and foremost. I will encourage everybody, whether it's a home-based business, you want to read cash flow quadrant so you will know the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, we want businesses that make money for us without us having to be there. So a lot of times, especially in our community, we say, I'm going into business. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to be doing hair, and I'm going to be cutting hair, or I'm going to be doing this. Okay. First thing that hits my mind, will that business allow me to be free? Not going to allow me to be free after I get it up and running. I know I'm going to have to put in some work, but I see a business as a tree. In my front yard, I got a tree. I tell my wife, when we get totally free, we're going to sit out there in the front yard and drink a big cup of lemonade and watch everybody go to work. You know, so but the only way to do that is you got to plant that seed in the ground, that business, and that business must be able to grow up and turn into a shade tree and take care of you. You're going to take care of it in the beginning, but it should one day grow up and take care of you.
Right.
You don't see that business doing that, then you're self-employed.
Gotcha.
Okay. So get your belief up, train your brain, you know, shift your mindset so you can shift your income, and then put forth the effort to go build something, go build a legacy, build something that's going to allow your family to, man, Proverbs 13:22 says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Yeah.
So if you're going to start doing hair, is that going to allow you to build something that's going to set your children up for 3 generations? You know? So not only do hair, but train others to do hair as well, and get out of the way and let them do their thing. And then you'll set up.
So the hair care line, you know, hair product line,
right.
Something.
Right.
Yeah.
Put
Cool.
yourself in a position where you can walk away and that thing still brings you income, and others can build wealth as well.
Okay. So first one, I got belief, know that you're the chosen one, right? You are the one that's going to take your family to the next level.
Right.
There's a good friend of mine who has a similar story. He grew up in poverty. Mother got sick, father got sick. And he always ends every conversation is that you're going to be the next millionaire in your family, right? Or if you're not, you're going to be the first millionaire in your family, right? So it's that belief that, he knows he's the chosen one.
Right.
The second one is mindset, right? Mindset, feed your brain, build mindset. And the second one is just take massive action. Third one is like take massive action, because we all have ideas and concepts, right? But if we just sit there, and Les Brown said it great, the most wealth, the most ideas are all in the graveyard, right? The cemetery, right? Because no one takes action on their ideas. So take massive action on your ideas. So where can everybody find you? Social media, website, wherever you are, how can we find you?
Yeah, right now we're on mainly on Facebook right now. Also on Young Black Wealth Builders, Andre Simpson on Facebook. You can also catch us on YouTube with Young Black Wealth Builders, on Twitter, Black and Wealthy, and I think that's it. We have an Instagram account, but we're not using it that much right now. But mainly Facebook and YouTube right now is the 2 main ones that we're focusing on and getting better. But that's where we can be found. Reach out to us and let's chat. I say let's chat man to man, man to woman.
Yes.
Because that's what we need. That's what it's going to take. Because I notice a lot of people are scared, scared to do something. But you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. So you better get it out of the way now. Because, I don't know if you see the handwriting on the wall, but my dad told me he's 65. He drove truck all his life. And he told me, he said, Dre, I thought I did the right thing. What happened? What happened? So, and everybody says that when they hit 65. 95% of people in America retire broke. It's not a lot. So
95%. Dang.
95%. In the richest country in the world. So the system that we're taught on, and I wanted to plug this little plug in, is that me and my wife, our daughter's she just graduated kindergarten, so she's going to first grade. And just from the kindergarten experience, we like, man, they're training my child to be an employee.
Kindergarten?
kindergarten, you know, she already come home, daddy, what's your job? You know, daddy, we don't work job. We don't say that in our house, you know, but we have to continue to wash her brain every time she come home. So we're thinking about homeschooling.
Right.
What she gonna do the first half of first grade?
Yeah.
We're going to homeschooling. We got to raise empire.
Yeah. I have a friend who owns a beer company, right? And him and his wife took his kids out of school. He homeschools them, but they work in the business every single day. That's their homeschooling, which is amazing. Excuse me. I had a thought I was going to say, I totally forgot. Oh, I read a book. I think it was Robert Kiyosaki and Tony Robbins. I wrote a book. I think it was those two.
Oh yeah. Why we want you to be rich?
Yeah. And they were talking about, a while back, they're talking about how there is no more middle class. You're either poor or you're rich.
Right.
Middle class is gone.
Right.
It's and Dre, even with these jobs, I mean, you walk into Walmart, McDonald's, wherever, there are now machines, kiosks, taking our order, taking our money, in warehouses. Amazon has machines packing boxes and on a conveyor belt.
Wow.
So realistically, how long are our jobs going to last? Right. You have to have some sort of expertise, something, I don't know, but just look, while you're out, during your day, you see all these machines are taking the place of now what humans used to do. And now I hear Amazon has full-on grocery stores with no employees, just machines, right? Mm-hmm. You just go and you scan out your stuff yourself.
Yeah.
The whole store has no employees, right? So it's scary, right? Yeah. So you have the poor and you have the rich.
Yeah.
So it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and change the landscape of your family. So anything in closing for our viewers?
No, I just, again, appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate you having me on. It's definitely a blessing, open my eyes to some things myself, but just, like you said, the handwriting is on the wall. We have to do something. And most importantly is, I would say this, me and my wife have been growing in our faith. I'm not sure where everybody's faith is at, but, we've been growing daily, sitting down with one another and just getting in our word together and really growing. That's most important, and raising our children to be in that same nurture and admonition. So growing them up in faith. You got to believe in something. we believe in God, but and that's where we get our foundational principles from. Deuteronomy 8:18 said, "I have given you the power to get wealth." And I posted something on my page that said, if God has given you the power to get wealth, why are you looking for wages? Why are you looking for wages? Well, like you define wealth in the beginning. If my expenses are $500 a month, or let's even be practical. If my expenses are $3,000 a month, but I'm bringing in $5,000 a month, not working, I'm wealthy in America, right? So you have to look for avenues that will allow you to create wealth, leave an inheritance to your children's children. Set your family up for generations. Stop following what everybody else is doing. And the reason why I said I have $1 million contract with my family, everybody's wondering what I don't even know how to say his name. Kyrie. What kind of contract he gonna sign? What Zion signing? Don't worry about their contract. What about the contract you got with your family? While your wife's sitting over here mad, you over here worrying about what Kyrie signing. Don't worry, he's set. So that's true. Let's worry about the contract with our family.
You drop so many bombs on social media, and I think it was you who dropped this bomb, and you mentioned how you're in the word with your wife, and I think if it wasn't you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned I'm celebrating a year of no arguments with my wife.
That's right.
Yeah. Is that you?
Yes, me. Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's all because of your determination to be in focus And that's just crazy. So
yeah,
that's on that too. That's crazy.
yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So brother, thank you for being on the show. So guys, it's time to go out and take action. It's time to go out and build a legacy for your family. It's time to go out there and believe and change your mindset and take action. Because if you're in a spot right now where you don't have what you want, you have the power to go out there and change it. You have the power to create everything that you want. All right. So thank you for watching Born to Create, and we will see you on the next show. Talk to you later.